Greetings, Keishlings. Keishan Prime here with my review of One Piece Chapter 905, A Beautiful World, which I did love the panel that inspired that title. But starting off, we have Orlumbus of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, and he is folding his pajamas because it is his 6 a.m. Routine. We get a good little picture of what his bedroom looks like. He's got some wine glasses and everything, and a lot of books, and even a couple globes, which, why does he need more than one, and a map? So, I mean, not a bad looking bedroom. But moving on, start of the chapter, and we get a lot of kind of redundant information in this chapter, while a lot of relevant information. But, we get a recap of why the Marine HQ was moved into the New World, and we get to see what it looks like now. New Marineford, as it's called. And it is a very big place. And something I didn't notice was the giant seagull arches, which I watched Roger's review and he thought it was like the McDonald arches. I don't know if he just didn't realize the seagull thing. And there's even little watchtowers, I think, on the top of the arches, so that was funny. And there are some, and it is a big place because you see the ships there, a few ships, and it's like, holy crap, just those cannons alone are massive. But anyway, moving on, we got with Sakazuki, Red Dog, Akainu, whatever name you subscribe to. He gets a report that Fujitora has arrived, and he's like, what the hell? I told him not to ever show up at a Navy base unless he had Law and Luffy's head on a pike. And T-Bone, who I didn't recognize, I knew he was familiar looking, but his name, I just, me, I'm the forgetful one. He's like, oh, sir, he had good reason, to show up. He had a logical defense. It's because there is no Navy thresholds here. Because it's Marineford. It's not a base, necessarily. It's the headquarters. But, Akainu not having any of that is that's just stupid of you to think that. That's semantics. And Sengoku kind of pops out and is like, oh, having problems there, new fleet admiral. And he's like, oh, shut up, you half-retired bastard. And you even get to see his little goat. But then we find out that Green Bull has arrived on Marineford, which, oh ho ho, will there be a reveal? No, there won't be. But anyway, we go over to the G1 base on the Grand Line, the Red Port, as it's called, and we finally get a little explanation of how people traverse the Red Line, or at least get up into Marijola and everything. It's basically a what is it called? Bandola's elevator system, which I thought was very ingenious. I did like that little bit of world building, I figured maybe there was a staircase or something built into the Red Line, which maybe that would be a bit more secure, than having these suspended vehicles, just out in the open. But oh well. The Marines have already been shown that they aren't always the brightest. Oh, if only Vegapunk would have shown up, and he probably could have come up with a better idea. Which, we'll get to him in a minute. He does get a mention. But anyway, everyone's like, oh, the Royals are coming, and we get to see Bell 6, who is from the Rushwan Kingdom, basically Russia. And he has his little nesting doll daughters, which is creepy in a way. How does that happen? And everyone's freaking out about them. And Bollywood Kingdom, you have King. The translation I had is hamburger, but it may be Hamburger, and he is apparently inspired by like Lincoln, based on what Roger was saying. I totally missed it in my reaction, but it makes more sense, especially when you consider like he says, "I never turn back." That could be somewhat inspired by Lincoln's like steadfast honesty. It's like, once I tell you the truth, I'm not going to deviate from it. So then there was a queen, Moloran or Roni. I don't know what country she's supposed to be from, because we've got Russia, we got America, you know. I assume France, because Oda gets a little stereotypical in this chapter with some of these royals. And like, she has wine in France, wine, you know. But everyone's like, "Oh, she's so pretty." And then we get probably the most stereotypical of the bunch, King Taco of the Chichano Kingdom, basically One Piece Mexico. And he's like, "It's better to die on your feet than live on your knees." And it's like, what? It's such a random phrase to say at this moment. But finally, we get the Fishman procession, and everyone's like, "Ah, the mermaid princess, she's arrived." And you know, they were apparently escorted by Garp. And a little interesting tidbit is that this is only the second time that the Ryukyu Kingdom, or Ryugu Kingdom, has been participating in the Reverie in their 200 years of being part of the government. So that's interesting. I actually like almost forgot that, like, during the flashback, you know, like, how long ago was that? 10 or so years ago, like when we saw baby Shirahoshi and everything, when her mother was still alive. And I thought they were petitioning to become part of the government, but then I finally remembered that no, it's so that they can become part of the surface world. But I guess due to the racism and everything and the slave trading of their kind, they haven't really been participating in this very targeted event, as we've seen in the last chapter, where, you know, royalty gets targeted all, you know, by pirates and whatnot. So Garp was helping them, and he's like, "Oh, I thought I was going to die down there." It's like, how many times has he been down there? But anyway, we get to see some of the not the propaganda, the paparazzi, and they're all taking pictures of the event. And Big News Morgans, he's kind of gotten infatuated with Shirahoshi, as most of us, I think, do. She is a cutie. Then you got King Neptune, and he's like, "Hey, Garp, I didn't know she was so super popular." And he's like, "Well, you know, the rumors, and she's lived up to the rumors so hardly that she very well might even meet or match the Pirate Empress Hancock." And it's like, also because she's so damn big. But then kind of a thing that just shows off how sheltered Shirahoshi has been her whole life. She's like, "Oh, Mr. Luffy's grandfather, is that a forest?" She was just pointing at one of the, like, bubble trees that's on this port, and he's like, "No, that's a tree." Then Garp gets called out by Stelly, who I was calling Smelly for a moment, because I was like, what was his name? I just don't care about this character like so many others. He's like, "Do you know who I am? I'm your king." He's like, "Nope, don't know who you are, little shit." But so, you know, and then Nato, her name gets mentioned. It's Stelly's wife. She was like, you know, "This is unheard of to be calling royalty that." And he's like, "I'm the king of your homeland." It's like, "And as one of my citizens, you're my subordinate. Do not forget that." And Morgans has just kind of gone all crazy, mentioning that, like, it's a peaceful backwater country, the Goa Kingdom, but it has produced some fearsome pirates and criminals. Like Dragon, Sabo, Luffy, Ace, Garp being the one exception that kind of, balances it out, maybe. But, and then a little tidbit where it kind of treads on some familiar ground, how Stelly, his relationship with Sabo and all that. But, like, he gunned for the path of royalty, and he eventually married Nato Kanet, or Kanet. Yeah, and this was after the mysterious deaths of the former king and prince just a few months ago. So, like, less than 6 months he's been king. Interesting note. And you even see him, like, he has a sparkle in his eye in this little panel. It's like, oh, he's plotting. So, and then he even gets so much as ambition to, like, hey, Garp, you mind putting in a word for me about becoming one of the celestial dragons? And he's like, mongrel like you, fat chance. But then it's like, what did he just say to a royal, even though he literally called him a little shit earlier? So, that part doesn't make sense. But it's like a death penalty level, offense. And he's like, oh, I messed up, sorry. He's all cool about it. I love it. and Stelly's like, is he for real? But anyway, Neptune kind of like helps him up or whatever, because he's so big. He just barely like pinched his shoulders, and it's like, you okay, young man? And he's like, did that statue just move? And then a bit of racism thrown in, like, oh, they're the fishmen, they're scales, they're strange colors. Are they half fishmen? Or half fishmen? And it's like, what? And he's like, they'll give me a disease, So he runs away and ends up fainting. People are like, yeah, he sucks. But anyway, the Fishman's group, their Bondola's, ready to go up, and Garp sends them off, and, it's like, thanks for the journey, it was very enjoyable. And then we get Shirahoshi. She's like captivated by something that's like so high up. Wow. It's like the sun. Father, it's the sun. It's like, brothers. It's like, I want to live up here. It's so beautiful. And it's like, I just want us to live above ground with our kingdom and everybody so they can see this. And then her father mentions that it's like, well, that's what Reverie's all about. So they might get their wish, or horrible things will happen to them. But moving on back to Marijola, we get Fujitora. He is talking to a mysterious person, and who apparently got a hold of some good food. And then we find out it's Green Bull. The mysterious Green Bull. Will he be revealed? No, he won't. But we do get to see a more defined silhouette. And we find out 3 things about Green Bull. 1, he's apparently a dude. A chauvinistic dude. He's also on a fast. So, and it's been 3 years. So, And also that his laugh pattern is rah-ha-ha. So, that's nice. But yeah, the chauvinistic part is that, like, he'd say, oh, I'd quit my fast if I was fed by a beautiful woman. So, all the theories of Green Bull being a woman and there being a little more equality in the Marines just got dashed like so many fires, so it's sad. But anyway, moving on, we have the Kamabaka Kingdom, and like we see that Bello Betty has made it back, which, given what we see later in this, like, how far away is the Kamabaka Kingdom from where they were? It seems very weird. But she's like, the Ryukyu's kingdom's preparation for the Reverie, and just talking about all this kind of stuff. And, let's see. But their true foe was obviously the world government, as Koala says, and the celestial dragons that are really the controllers of the controllers. Eh. Then something I missed in this was that Stelly saw Morley, because he mentions like when his gondola goes up the side of the red line that he saw a giant with a harpoon, and Mr. Lincoln Hamburger over here, he's like, you seeing hallucinations? I mean, how high up do you think we are? So how big do they think giants get? But and then we see a flock of crows coming, and Stelly's like, men, put up your guns. It's like they'll pop the balloons. And I think Oda included a meme, oh, is this a bird or a pigeon or something, because Shirahoshi's like, they're birds, I've read about these. And the guard who, was being told all this about putting up your guns and everything, shoot them before they pop the bubbles, he's like, don't worry, they've never popped the bubbles before. And it's revealed to be Sabo. So the revolutionaries are on the move. 2 of their commanders are right there, because Karasu, that's his flock of crows, which, considering where they're coming from, I wonder where he is, unless he can turn his complete body into crows, which would be interesting. But and then obviously Sabo, who is second in command of the Marine, or not the Marines, the revolutionaries, my bad. So the infiltration is complete, and I'm giving a 4.5. It was good. There was little tidbits in there that revealed some stuff. I mean, the Green Bull reveal would have been nice, but I mean, at least a little bit more about him. Now I can say it's a him, So, not bad. Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Keishan Prime, and I'll see you next time. Keishlings, roll out.